Well, hello everyone. So, earlier today, and after some food for all with my my town's transit system that's making sure I'm probably gonna be watching movies at home until January at the earliest. I saw Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the high anticipated sequel to both the previous films as well as the hit Knuckles event series, and I expect to enjoy it, personally, but it's easily the best installment trilogy to date, and even with some people making a few mistakes, I believe Eve Chipman and was making some comment about it. I'm not a huge fan of his work, and I am, and also Daily Beast. I'm not gonna try and scapegoat them, but I'm not sure what one franchise has to do with the other. Apart from the Detective Pikachu, which I found amusing, and I like for reasons, like just you gotta get your adaptation straight, guys. So now that I got that bit out of the way, let's begin. Picking up around where the events of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 left off, the movie sees Team Sonic being called in to investigate Shadow breaking out of a prison compound outside Tokyo, Japan, and meaning that not even like a family camping trip is a respite from trying to prevent potential cataclysmic events. And as Sonic is pushed to his limits, he must make the right choice in order to stop Shadow as well as an orbital strike beacon known as the Eclipse Cannon. So, as you can tell from that description, it's definitely a movie made for and by fans of the franchise, and it fully relishes in being an adaptation of video game source material, in which, where I would hope so, because the budget is $122 million, which is, including the research of the first movie, just a smidge under that one, but also a bit more expensive than the second, and it makes sense to me. Where it has also lots of callbacks to the games, especially with Shadow's tragic backstory being the most clear, with the loss of his only friend Maria, played by Lila Brown, and especially like the motorcycle chase in the beginning of the movie as well. It's another one that calls back to the games. And I also especially like the scene with the Chow Garden Cafe, a when they're trying to regroup and figure out the next move, which also includes a scene where one of the a guest mistakes Tails with Detective Pikachu. Nice little nod to another successful full video game turned live action movie, and I am certainly glad that the sequel is still in development. And so any day now, Warner's, any day. And if it means that you guys have to break up before I see it, then so be it. And so, while the humor does indeed remain, with Jim Carrey easily being the biggest delight in a dual role as both Dr. Evil Robotnik and his grandfather Gerald, it's like a more advanced version of what they did in other professional movies back in the day with Eddie Murphy, where I mean, he's playing both him and his pop, and on top of this, I can now officially say that not only are these whole trilogy better Flash movies than the actual one, they actually did a better job of the dual role played by the same actor as well, with way less money, as well as like the shadow archetype of the title character. I mean, the live actors as well as like the CG characters play off each other quite well. Oh, but I also like how when the serious situations on screen is treated as such. I mean, even though Oh, to my knowledge, they don't get into Maria's terminal illness within the games, but they kept what was important of her being the only friend and the only one even that showed, shadow kindness in that compound. I mean, definitely a pragmatic adaptation, I would say. I mean, I'm okay with making changes if they make sense for the story, especially since I got a couple other video adaptations lined up this weekend. I've showed what can happen when the changes don't make sense at all. It's, even though they were this close to getting PG-13 in some spots, it still comes up with what I call like a hard PG in the same vein as, say, Raiders of the Lost Ark or the original Star Wars trilogy, where it's definitely like a family adventure at its core, but there's still dark moments that like situations on screen are treated as such. Like the whole bit in like the vault in London, and it plays. You see more about how it plays out in doing the advertising. Amazing. I won't get into specifics, but if you watch the movie, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. It reminded me at times of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 as well. Not just in terms of like Shadow's backstory, showing like coming out of the rocket, like the genetic experiment with a lot of the pretty sick looking boots as well. Oh, and even though I'm not going to say exactly who lives and dies, much like in that film, there are a lot of close calls, where it's another one of those ones I had to cut my hand over my mouth to avoid shouting out something shocking right there in the theater. Definitely if you. And also, when I went to go see it, there was a good mix of people like me, old enough to remember when Sega was still making consoles in there, younger players who were likely familiar with the newer games on new systems, and even phones, and as well as a few parents and grandparents who might not have ever held a controller before or so, which also makes a good template for what comes next, especially with the credits scene. I'm not going to go into specifics, but to give an idea about how much I've fun with it. Let's just say that when my spoiler review comes, say after it drops on Paramount Plus at earliest, I have plenty to say. Hey, and it's definitely it proves that they've come a long way since the kerfuffle of that initial trailer with a very off-model redesign. Yeah. The music is also quite good, on top of Tom Junkie XL Hogenberg returning for the score. I never really listened to Jelly Roll before, but I'll have to check out that single of his that also plays the end credits, where I like how even managing to pick like the Eggman and even the Chow and like the whole early polygonal style like you'd see on the Saturn, or even the 32X where I just came off reviewing, and also good use of like All Right by the Warburys. I'll have to. I'm not going to go into detail about why, but it's another one that fits the setting in the scenes with his backstory, and also oh definitely adds a bit more emotional weight to that part as well. So, and with that in mind, and even though there's definitely like a slight advantage towards this film, there's never any doubt in my head that both this and Mufasa are going to do well. Granted, I don't expect either one to do like Star Wars, Avatar, Spion level numbers, but it's definitely a officially a good way to cover the winter solstice. Yes, with Vectron Temple films, especially as I totally called it, the triple whammy of Wicked, Moana, and Gladiator held fast against Craven. So I could have enjoyed myself a lot more here. here, and the hits keep coming in for Sony, don't they? I know it's kind of a running gag now, but I just got word that it's made less so far than both W84 and 21's The Suicide Squad, both ones that came out simultaneously on stream during the pandemic. Ouch. And I definitely won't get into specifics why it happens, but they do indeed end up doing what I thought I was hoping they would. I mean, to show you the power of the Eclipse cannon, we cut this moon in half and repaired it with only flex tape. Sorry, I couldn't resist there. I mean, but still, I mean, whatever happens next for the franchise, it's clear that it is going to be another asset that Paramount tends to leverage now that they and Skydance are one. Much like with Mission Impossible, Star Trek, and Transformers, name a few. And with that in mind, the ones prioritizing the most for the remainder of this year are my spoiler year TF1, My Full Look at the Boy and the Heron, and another third movie that I've yet to reveal. Trust me, you'll know when you see it. That'll be all for now. And if you're looking, and I will say that this movie is like a stellar 4 out of 4, 4 out of 5. If you're looking to escape from the city and into a theater, this is going to be your movie. That's all for now, so take care, everyone.